Hello, everyone. I'm Verdel Jones, talk show host of Conversations with Verdel Jones, and one of the co-hosts of a family show called Let's Kick It with the Joneses. We are so happy that you decided to join us. You're watching Have You Heard, a show powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. And, there's nothing better than great conversations with great friends. And that's what today's show is all about. We hope our show and this conversation will empower you and uplift you and, so you live your best life possible. We encourage you to definitely make sure you chat and let us know in the comment section about your thoughts on the show. And you also want to make sure you share, so everybody can join in on the conversation. I have the pleasure of having two beautiful, strong woman co-hosts, and I would like to introduce them, and they could start with, we'll start with Coach Heidi K.
Hi, everybody. I'm Coach Heidi K, relationship coach, dating coach, and life coach. I'm also on the faculty of IPEC Coaching, training new coaches to do this work every day. And I am the podcast host of Breakup to Breakthrough with Coach Heidi K. Really excited to be here with my great friends today and with all of you.
And last but not least, the fitter woman.
Hey fam, my name is Orlandina Balan and I'm the host of Muscles and Stilettos, and I'm so happy to be here with my beautiful co-hosts, Coach Heidi K and Miss Verdel Jones. I am like I said before, I'm the host of Muscles and Stilettos. I'm also the founder of the Fitter Woman University.
All right. So like I said, you're watching Have You Heard, and it's a show powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. And this is an awesome show, ladies. We have such great conversations. And if you want to see this show and more shows like this that will entertain you and you learn something too, you can go to ruderangers.com. So one of the things I wanted to really talk about, are things we love. You think about love, and when you think about love, you think about partnerships and things like that. But there's some things out there that you just love to do. And as I was thinking about this, one of the things that I love, which is kind of odd, it's not odd, I love cars. I absolutely love cars. And it wasn't something that, started when I was young. I happened to go to a car show, and I saw this car that caught my attention. And since then, I was like hooked on cars. So I mean, I love the look of cars, and I love cars, and I know a little bit about them. I'm not about the engine and things like that. I just like the look of them. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you. I love cars. I don't know that much about them. Don't ask me, what's under the hood, the catalyst,
horsepower,
and all that. I don't know any of that. But I will tell you, if I see a car, I'm like, ooh, that's sexy.
Yes.
Sexy. And what I love when, especially when somebody's driving by and they're in their car, I remember over the summer I saw this gentleman, he had the top down, and it was a classic car. And he was just feeling himself. It was apple red. And I just looked at him, and I rolled down my window, and I'm like, excuse me. He looked at me. He didn't even know what to do. He was like, what? I said, you look good in your car. And he said, and he just smiled.
Right.
And I was like, it's a beautiful car. He's like, yeah, I did a lot of work on it. And as he pulls off, he puts an extra just I was like, woohoo!
It's a really what kind of car it was. Love of cars is really well-known, popular, kind of common thing, I would say.
Yeah. It's just something about them. And when somebody has a car and they're flashy with it, I don't get annoyed by it if it's a nice car, because it's a nice car.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I like your rims. And, they get it waxed. It's all shiny. Listen, I love when my car is freshly clean and waxed and I'm just driving. I got a little SUV. It's not anything special. I feel special in it.
You want to love it because you love it, because you love being in it. You appreciate it, not because you want to show something,
Yeah. Well, sometimes, Heidi.
Yeah. Might want to show it a little, but that should not be your predominant reason.
Well, it depends on what kind of car you have.
True. Well, you love cars.
Do
I love a good dessert. And I'm not a sweet tooth. I don't have a sweet tooth. But
you don't look like you love a good dessert.
Yeah,
I know.
exactly.
They're like, really? I said, no, I love good food. That's what I love. Like well prepared with love. And I go in there, I go for the experience of it. But a good dessert, nothing like it. Like I love when I sit down, I finish eating something, I do the little smiley face on my tummy. I go, smile.
I love a good dessert too, totally. But what happens for me is I feel like my sugar addiction centers get ticked off in my mind. As soon as I have a good dessert, I'm like a monster searching for more. Like I will get in my car late at night and you will find me at Haagen-Dazs, you know?
It's an addiction. You know, the thing about desserts is I do like sweets every now and again. I do like them. But what gets me upset is when I have something, it's sweet and I think it's going to be good and it's not good and I have wasted that, like that dessert. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Sometimes they look a lot better than they taste.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. My mother's a great baker, so I'd rather have her food, her baked goods as opposed to something else. And when I eat that something else and it doesn't meet up to her standards, it's very upsetting. Very upsetting.
Yeah.
I agree.
I really love like small venue live music. Like especially jazz clubs. I just love that. And I miss it so much now during COVID.
Exactly.
My favorite place is Birdland Jazz Club. And they have this amazing Afro-Latin jazz band, Arturo Farrell. And it is just to die for. You're right up close there, like they're in your living room playing for you.
Right. Oh, man.
It just blows your mind. So that's one of my favorite things that I love.
Yeah. That's funny you should mention that because I was thinking about when will we be able to be in that kind of venue to enjoy that? Because there's nothing like live music.
Yes.
Nothing like it. Oh, it's brilliant.
And I try to, tune in online because they've tried to shift it online, and I just don't get the same. You just don't get the same kind of feeling, not the same energy. It's the energy of it. I'm not like I don't know every piece that they're playing. I'm not educated in jazz music. I just feel the energy. That's what I love about it.
Yeah,
I agree. And the thing is, like, I think what it is also when you go to those types of events, because, I love doing spoken word and performing it and just being around other creatives and listening to the music. It's the sensory, the experience of it, being around other people, the energy, especially when the musicians are like feeling the music and they just have a great crowd that's feeding off of it. And they just start, going off into their own little thing.
Yes. They'll do like an amazing drum solo for like 10 minutes. And it's incredible. And everybody's roaring and applauding. It's so beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I love that better than like a large live music venue. Okay. That could be fun too.
That's fun.
There's nothing to me like a small one.
Small. Who's your favorite person, or who did you love? Or who have you loved to see in concert?
You mean in a large venue?
In a large venue, yes.
So that's a great question. I'm going to say Paul McCartney.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was amazing.
Like iconic,
Yeah. Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
Amazing. Yeah. What about you?
I saw Mark Anthony last year.
Oh, okay.
I have never seen anything like that in my life.
Really?
When you talk about, and now I love this episode because it's adoration. His fans adore him. And I mean, it's like this man is a god. When he walks in, the crowd went crazy. I didn't understand every lyric, but you can understand the love. And then for him, he adores his fan. Like he will sit there and it's like he's absorbing the energy. He will stop singing and look at everybody and you just see pure joy on his face. I had never experienced anything like that in my life. It was so beautiful. I was telling you about go see Mark, and even if you don't speak Spanish, don't understand, it doesn't matter. It's just he adores the people. He adores what he does, and he feels it. I've never seen anything like that. Pure adoration.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I nothing like a live show. I saw Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life. It was that show. He was doing that, and like tears, because it's nostalgia too. Yeah. It was so
beautiful.
He was amazing. Amazing. And it was just like you said, like you both said, it's that energy. If with any live performance, it's that energy. Like Broadway, I love going to Broadway. It's the same kind of thing. Being there with those creatives, you feel that you're inspired.
I can't wait for us to get back to that.
Me too.
I can't wait for us to get back to that.
I went with my high school friends to see the Broadway show where it was about Donna Summer, because that was our music growing up.
I saw it. Wasn't that good?
You saw it?
Yes.
We were having the greatest time of our lives.
It was amazing.
There's nothing like her music to me.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. And we got to see Tina also. That was good too. Oh, very good. Yeah.
She's amazing. She's an amazing performer, and she loves the people. I love seeing people like that. Like it goes beyond just the show. It's the connection with the people. And I think this is what the connection. I think that's what we see, and I think that's the running theme to the things that we love. It's how it makes us feel connected.
Absolutely.
The car just makes us feel good. It feels sexy. The dessert, it just brings nostalgia. It's more nostalgic than anything. And then I think that with the things that you love in terms of the venue and just being in that kind of space, it's just that connection. And I think that's
absolutely
what love is. Love is that connection.
That's who we are as people, Yes.
Let's go. When this COVID is over, we're going together.
That's right. So we're going to take a quick break. Remember, you're watching Have You Heard on the Rude Rangers Entertainment Network, and we'll be back right after these messages.
Hey fam, thank you for joining us today on Have You Heard? And today we're talking about love and the things that we absolutely love. And one of the things that we said, that love is something that makes us feel connected. So I wanted to talk about what exactly is the definition of love. Like when I hear what is love, I think of that song, What is Love? Baby, don't hurt me. I hear that song in my head. But it's not, in the song, first of all, that guy was just amazing anyway. But, it's not about hurt. I think a lot of times people, leave love in this little box of just romantic relationships. But what is love? And the other day I was listening to a reading of 1 Corinthians, and it's that popular passage that a lot of people read at weddings. And I wanted to read it to you guys. And I've heard it so many times ad nauseum, but you know how you finally hear something, even though you've heard something, you finally hear it. And I thought it was beautiful. So it says, love is patient, love is kind. It is not jealous, it is not pompous, it is not inflated, it is not rude. It does not seek its own interest, it is not quick-tempered, it does not brood over injury, it does not rejoice over wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. It bears all things, and there's more. But it just talks about, it says it bears all things, it believes all things, it hopes all things, and endures all things. I mean, that is love. It has no
conditions, right?
Remember that? I think it was Donna Summers, give me your unconditional love. I think it was her, but from way back when. But when they talk about love is unconditional, for me, love just is. It is a matter of just being. It is. It has no conditions. It doesn't need something for it to occur. It just is. Love just is. So when I heard that, I was like, wow. I think it's just like when you hear a love song and you really hear it and you listen to the lyrics, like back in the days when they were like, please don't leave me, please don't leave me. Before you're like, but you just see that this person is like, please do not leave me, because without you, I'm nothing. But if that's true, because that means that's a condition. If without you, I'm no longer here. So what do you guys think about that? I'm like, when I heard that, I was like, wait a minute, love just is. Whoa,
I'm thinking, what you're describing is kind of a bit like we were talking about earlier. It's an energy, love is an energy. Like we were talking about how we feel with live music or something like that. And it's within you, it's around you. It's sort of, if you're spiritual, you might want to think of it as God energy. Sort of, like I've taken a lot of Kabbalah classes, kind of is like the energy of giving, just the source of giving when you feel that way. I think when you bring love into your relationships, to me, it's about really you authentically and genuinely and passionately want the other person to be happy. Whether it's in a romantic relationship, a friendship, family member, any kind of love, you want them to be happy. Their happiness means the world to you, and you're willing to sacrifice for that happiness of that person. Not that you want to make yourself disappear, but their happiness is so meaningful to you that you will go the extra mile and go outside yourself for it. That's kind of a bit of my take.
Right. And it goes back to that energy. I think it's a feeling. And, how do people know, like if we're talking about a romantic relationship, how do they know they're in love? You have people who say, oh, I love you. But how do they really know that? Is it they want to see you happy no matter what? Is it they get these butterflies when they see you? Is that love? Or is it that unconditional love? Because sometimes unconditional love doesn't happen, especially in a romantic relationship, right away. You might love someone and then they do something bad to you and then you're out of love.
In my mind, I take it back.
Over, game over.
JK.
Yeah.
So how does someone know that they're in love? Is it a combination? Is it,
I think there's a point where in order to be in love, they always say that love begins with you, right? It begins with self. But how do you know? So in order for you to be in love, you got to know what it is. So it's just, I think love, like you said, is the energy. And I think if you are truly a happy person and truly at peace with yourself and truly just happy with your purpose and you're just walking in your purpose and walking in life, it's easier to show love to others. And like you said, it doesn't matter what form it is, it's just love. And love is just, look, I want to help you as best I can. I want to give you as much as I can. I want to make you as happy as you can be, but without the point of just you absorbing me either. Like, you know, I don't want you draining me either. But I just found it fascinating because a lot of times, even though we say we love, we may say we love somebody unconditionally, but like you said, do we truly? That's a big, if you think about it, that's a big thing. That's a major step.
Yeah, it
like,
really is.
If I think of someone who has unconditional love, your mom.
Right.
Your mother. Because I think mothers have probably, not all mothers, obviously, we know, but just in the normal scheme of things, I think that mothers have the closest thing to unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
Something to strive for, and you might not reach it every day of every relationship. You're always striving for it. And also, like what you said, Verdel, before about you got to know the difference sort of between chemistry and love. I think a lot of people get them mixed up with each other. Just because you're feeling butterflies doesn't mean you love the person. It means you're attracted to the person. And you have chemistry with them. I think when you want to identify if you love someone, I know we want to like take the condition out of it, but you need to be able to name things about them that you love and respect. So not just things about how they are with you, not what they do for you.
I love that.
You love their kindness, or you love their intelligence, or you love their generosity. You know, you need to be able to name that when you, sometimes you ask somebody, what do you love about them? And it's all about, you know, I feel so great when they're holding me. Well, awesome, but that's not really love. It's fun, but it's not necessarily love.
Right.
And it was interesting because I started to do some research about what is love, and I came across this list of types of love. So I don't know if you know this, but I didn't realize there are like 8 types of love. So there's philia, which is affectionate love. It's a love that runs between, like in true friendships. They call it philia. Think about Philadelphia, right? City of brotherly love.
Okay.
Right? Then there's pragma. It's a mature love that develops over time. And I think that's what happens in marriages. Like you're in love, and then that love just deepens and deepens, right? Then the third type is called storge, or storge, which is familiar love. And that's the love that flows between parent and child, or childhood friends. Eros, which we all know, erotic, right? That's that romantic love. And then there's something called ludus, playful love, flirting, the beginning stages. So that's that butterfly.
Butterflies.
Yeah, like that butterfly. So when you're feeling you give me butterflies. Act like I sing it. Listen, people, if I don't sound good, it's all right. I love my voice. Deep love. Then there's that crazy love, the one that Heidi has told us, run, mania. That's that love, like, run.
Right. Other way love.
Drop everything and run like there's a fire.
Then the last 2 are, which is something that I think we all strive for first, are philosia. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but that's self-love. That's having a healthy self-compassion and love towards oneself. And the final form of love is agape, which we all know that's the selfless love, which is what you're talking about when I want to show you and help you to be happy. It's empathetic attitude and a love of everyone and anyone. That's which is what, you know, spirituality is about. It's all about the spirit. So it was just interesting to even go into this topic of what is love.
I love that.
Different types of love, and what kind of love do you exude, and do you even know how to love yourself? And I think that's a whole new conversation. Like how to love yourself, so that you can now begin to show that to others and give to others, because it does start with you first. But you know, I think that's a whole conversation right there. Absolutely. How to show love. But I thought this was a really interesting concept. So I was just like, what is love?
I didn't realize there were so many times. I mean, it makes sense, but I didn't know that there was 8. But it does make sense the way each one, because you can understand, because I was going to say, you love people differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. At different stages.
And the more you love, the more capacity you have for love.
Yeah. Yes. And I find that the more I walk into myself and learn more about myself, the easier it is for me to love others.
Absolutely.
So loving. And for it to be unconditional. I'm not saying I'm perfect at that part. No, because sometimes you piss me off and be like, look, go someplace. But I will say that it does make it easier for me to show that affection and to be selfless when it comes to that. And just and to be okay with somebody saying, okay, this friendship is no longer. All right, bye. See you later.
You're good. Yeah.
I'm okay. So. But with that, I want to say we're going to go off into thank our sponsors and listen to these wonderful commercials, and we'll be back to Have You Heard?
I'm Doozy Box Dave, and my prices are Doozy Box. Come into LI Telecom at 2287 Route 112, Medford, New York, or call me at 631-833-9679. I dare you!
Hi, I'm Dan O'Shea, Executive Director for Lawrence Haven Homeless Outreach. It is our mission to support the homeless in our community, and we do that with the support of so many volunteers just like yourself. To help us, please go to www.lawrencehaven.org.
Everybody, welcome back. You're watching Have You Heard on Rude Rangers Entertainment, and we are talking about all things love. I am talking with my very wise, powerful, and beautiful co-hosts and friends, Verdel and the fitter woman, Orlandina, and we've got lots to say about love. I want to bring across some concepts that I've read about, very popular concepts by Gary Chapman in his book, The 5 Love Languages. And these are brilliant concepts. And I just want to, talk with you a little bit about those today. So in this book, which I highly recommend, Gary Chapman talks about each of us having a love tank within us. And when we are related to in our love language, that fills our love tank. Mm-hmm. And when we are not related to in our love language, our love tank gets empty. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so everybody has a primary love language. Just like everybody has a primary spoken or written language, you might have a secondary language and you might know, a few languages, but there's one that's your primary. And so the concept is kind of, if we can really get in touch with that primary love language, we can identify what our language is, then we will be able to receive love the way that we need to. We'll be able to identify the love language of the others in our lives, both our romantic partners and all the people in our life, so that we can fill their love tank. And so there are 5 of them. I'll run through them really fast, okay? The first one is words of affirmation. So words of affirmation simply means that what fills your love tank is when you hear words of praise or words of affection. So anything from I love you, wow, your opinion is so valuable to me and it helped me so much, you're so beautiful, you're so handsome, that meal that you cooked is so wonderful, that book that you wrote is so powerful. These are words of affirmation, and of course millions more. Second one is physical touch. Okay, so with physical touch, that's what fills your love tank. Somebody can tell you from today till doomsday how great you are, but that's not how you That's
if they don't touch you, there's a problem.
Your primary language is physical touch, then that's what you need. That can mean a kiss and a hug. That can even mean, your friends or coworker giving you a pat on the back or a squeeze on the shoulder. Of course, we got to be careful about that stuff. But, that means the world more than if they say great job. So let me just check in with you on those two love languages first and see what you think about those. Verdel, what do you think about those two languages?
So with the affirmation, does it I guess it has to feed into your personality too.
Yeah.
I mean, of course it would, but because I'm thinking that I love when people tell me that I'm awesome, but I'm not sure if that's my primary love language.
Yes.
But I do like to hear that. I like to be affirmed.
Yeah.
But then again, I like to hug. I like to touch. I like to kiss. I like all of that too.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to hear the other three to see.
Yeah.
If,
so you're not ready to weigh in, and
I'm not ready yet
because there's more to come. But the point of this is, we might really like all of the love languages. We want to be related to in all of them. And we want to relate to others in all of them. But there's a primary one. And if that one is missing or sunk, that relationship ain't going nowhere. Okay. So what do you think so far, Orlandina?
I'm like Verdel. I'm waiting to weigh my options.
Okay. All right. I'm going to dole out a couple more.
Yeah, I'm going to wait.
Dole out a couple more.
But I am told that I give the best hugs.
Okay.
Tell me I give the best hugs.
So that's pointing to physical touch as perhaps your love language.
I don't mind giving it, but for me, I'm just like, whatever. So I don't think, for me, it's whatever. But when I give a hug, I give it with all my heart.
Okay. So
so it's interesting. Like, I don't mind giving it, but for me, I don't think, so far, I don't know if it's my primary.
Yeah.
Right.
So we need to,
I don't know yet.
So we might enjoy all of the love languages, and we also need to learn to give love in all of the languages.
Right. Yes.
So what you're saying, Orlandina, is that's not necessarily your primary language, but you're able to relate to people in their primary language if it's physical touch, which is so important. So, and these languages, they come from our early experiences, our preference. Maybe it comes from what we were missing in our life. Maybe if we didn't get a lot of physical touch as a child, we end up with that as a primary love language. We're looking for that as our language. Or if we weren't used to it, maybe we don't want that, and that's not our language.
Right.
So it's maybe something that we got a lot of or a little of. For everyone, it's different. This is what Gary Chapman says. Okay, so the next one is acts of service. So with acts of service, it can be anything from, I'm picking up some groceries. What would you like? Oh, you're not feeling well. Can I bring you some soup? Or it's, helping somebody clean up after dinner or helping somebody cook dinner. So now, if that's your primary language, then let's say your husband comes home and he tells you that you're amazing, and he gives you flowers, and he gives you a hug and a kiss. But now you're scurrying around the kitchen, cooking and cleaning, and then you're folding the laundry and sweeping the floor, and he's nowhere. Okay, so now he's nowhere, and if your language is acts of service, well, the doghouse, isn't he?
That's right.
If your language is words of affirmation or physical touch, he's doing great, and you're singing and whistling as you clean up. But if your language is acts of service, you might be thinking, well, if he loves me, he'd be helping me.
Right.
He could tell me he loves me. He can touch me like he loves me. But if he's not helping me like he loves me, then that's not filling my love tank. So these are everybody, different strokes for different folks.
Interesting.
Another love language is receiving gifts. So gifts does not have to be extravagant. It doesn't have to be that fancy car that you ladies were talking about.
Something like this?
It could be that. It could be, I just went on a hike and I picked this wildflower for you. I thought it was beautiful. I know you love purple. It could be, it doesn't have to be something expensive. It's it's just the act of the physical something of receiving gifts is what's important to that person who's that's their love language. And quality time is the last one. So all these things, okay, great. You might tell me great things. You might hug me and kiss me. You might be helping me. But if you won't sit on the porch and have a conversation with me, if you won't take a walk with me, if you won't plan a day trip somewhere, if you won't go out for dinner with me, if you won't, really carve out time to spend quality time with me, then my love tank is still going to be empty.
Wow.
So now you can see the fun. Words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time. Listeners, I hope you're figuring out which one it is for you, and we want to hear you commenting because we want to support each other in this. What do you think now, Orlandina? What's your love language, honey?
I would think my primary one is acts of service. Show me, show me.
Yes.
You can talk a good game and you could say all the things and you can buy me the most beautiful. Show me. Because I think that's where I feel more supported, because that to me would be my primary I think that's my primary love.
So that's so powerful when you know that about yourself, because then when you're in a relationship, you can express that, and then that person knows how to make you feel loved.
All right.
So that's great. What about you, Verdel? What's your language?
I do like the service, the way that you put it in context, helping out. But I would probably think that the affirmation is probably my highest. Just words of encouragement.
Yes.
And being affirmed.
Affirmation,
Right. Knowing that what I'm doing is enough, I guess. Or,
got it.
is
the right thing, I guess.
Having your partner simply say something like, "You've got this, you're going to do great, you're going to rock it.
Right.
You're going to rock it like you always do." Those are words of affirmation. Absolutely. Mine is a toss-up between physical touch and words of affirmation. And maybe physical touch is a notch higher, but I think that's like the primary and secondary language, both of those.
Right.
I love all of them, certainly.
They all sound pretty good.
They all sound really good.
You have to choose. And you can think of these, if you think of these around children, right? If you come home from a trip, there may be one child who you bring them a little souvenir that costs $3, and they're so excited and they're playing with it all day and they're lit up because they feel loved, because maybe their language is receiving gifts. Another child, you bring it home, they don't even look at it. But if you say, "Come on, let's take a walk and I'll tell you about what it was like there," they're lit up because they're all about quality time.
Yeah. It's interesting. My niece, when I look at her, it definitely quality time, and she loves to be touched. Hugs, Eskimo kisses and hugs, and that's her thing. But I don't know if that's just a child, and then as she she grows up, maybe that will change. I don't know. Does your love language change?
That's a great question.
That is a good question.
I think if I'm interpreting the book correctly, it stays pretty consistent throughout your life. I'm not sure at what age it's like solidified, but it stays pretty consistent throughout your life. So this is really powerful stuff. If you can identify this within yourself, and you can start identifying it within other people as you get to know them, what lights them up, which of those languages, well, now you know what to do best for someone's birthday. You know what to do best to fill their love tank, whether they're a friend, a family member, a spouse, your child. So great way to spread that love and be love and all that. So
you know what? Now that I think about it, I'm like, I guess I do like the words of affirmation. I never thought about it because I'm like, I don't need anybody to tell me I'm doing a good job, whatever. But there is something to be said about, I noticed that I like to hear if I'm doing it right. Are you doing it right? Because I will always question, am I doing this right? is big.
So everybody's going to have their own brand of words of affirmation. That's the kind of words that you love. So you get into the nuances. So we have to go to a commercial break. You are listening to Have You Heard? Powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. Share, comment, tell us what your love language is. We want to hear about it, and we want to answer your questions about it. We'll be right back, so don't go away.
Dropping gems from Keisha Christian. She's on a mission, sharing information, knowledge for soul, body and mind. Dropping gems, KeishaGems.com, KeishaGems.com.
Welcome back to Have You Heard? A show powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. So we are talking about love, and I'm going to talk about the evolution of love. But before I do that, I have to ask you a question, Heidi. We were talking about love languages. It's a little bit confusing because they all sound great. How can you kind of determine what your love language is?
So, one great way of determining it is if you think about, your ideal day, how you would want to spend it, or your ideal hour or few hours with a particular person, what would it look like? Or I think I mentioned before, if you mention your birthday, what would that look like? So to one person, they're going to think about the gift that they're going to get. To another, I think there's an example in a book where a mother with her adult child, she said what she would want for her birthday is just to spend the entire day with her child, just hanging out. It didn't matter what they were doing. So if you think about how you would want to spend your time, also there's a test in the book and on the website that can help you with that as well. And that's something I talk through in depth with my individual coaching clients as well. I did do a recent podcast episode on What's Your Love Language. It's episode number 11 of Break Up to Breakthrough with Coach Heidi K. So you can check out more information on there as well.
Awesome. I love that it's that how would you like to spend your day? That's really key because that kind of gives you some insight. And I never really thought about it that way. So that's awesome. So we're talking about love, and we talked about what is love, the love languages, and so all of you, by now, I've been married for quite some time, and I have been with my husband for quite some time. November 4th will be our, 37th anniversary dating. He asked me out at a football game. We were in high school. So we were talking about what is love and how to identify it and all that. And, when we first started dating as children, basically, teenagers, young, children, we got those butterflies, or I got those butterflies. But eventually it turned into so much more. And I think love, and we're in a relationship, in a romantic relationship, takes on so many different iterations. And Orlandina, you were talking about the different types of love, and it resonated with me because that's how our relationships, that's how, and from my experience, how our love has grown and developed. There are times when, in the relationship early on where we didn't really fully understand what was even happening. We were very like, what is going on? But and we went through, then a little longer, after the kids, and then it was another set of how we worked together and how we loved each other. It was more of a partnership, and some of the other things we kind of forgot because we had to, keep this thing going and making sure that everybody was happy. And then you go through a rough patch, and then this is the evolution. You go through a rough patch, and then you learn that love, if you're going to be committed to someone in the long haul, for the long haul, that you're going to have these changes within your relationship and how you love. So Heidi, you're you coach a lot of people in this area. Is this something that you hear from a lot of people that you coach?
Yeah, definitely. So, when both members of the couple are committed to that evolution and committed to working with it and working through the stages, then it's going to work long term. But what happens is sometimes one person drops off of wanting to work with the evolution. And that's where you see so much divorce. People grow apart. It sounds like, thankfully, you and your husband grew together through all the iterations of love.
But we grew apart, but we grew back together.
Yeah. Okay. So because underneath it was the commitment to get there, commitment to get there. Yeah. So it's all going to be about communication along the way. So there are going to be times where you're not exactly in the same place. But if you've got the commitment and if you've got the communication, then you're going to get there. Right. Also, what I think, brings you through the iterations of love is allowing yourself to be increasingly vulnerable with the other person. In the beginning, you're having butterflies and you're flirting and you're coy and it's cute and it's adorable, but you're not really allowing yourself to be vulnerable. As time goes on, you allow yourself to really trust and be vulnerable with your innermost thoughts, with times that you're sick, all sorts of things that you really let the other person in so many different ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm reminded of the 7-year itch. These iterations. I'm reminded of that term, the 7-year itch. So it's like they, that premise is every 7 years, the marriage hits a rough patch and they've got to go through this evolution. And which is what I like what you said, Verdel, this idea of this evolution of your relationship. You grew apart and then you grew together, but the underlying commitment, as Heidi says. So Heidi, what about that 7-year itch? I was talking to a friend and she said, I think that when you're married, every 10 years, you should be able to revisit that contract.
I've heard that.
I want in, I want out. Like you should be able to revisit it and say, I'm done.
Like a lease. Like your car lease. Like your car lease. You want the more fabulous one, right?
Every 10 years, you get to revisit your spouse like, yeah, okay, I'm done.
Oh no. So what do I think about the 7-year itch? I think it's really important for a couple to find ways to keep the spice and the fun in their relationship.
Yes.
If you can laugh together and have fun and keep the spice in, then you're going to weather the storms.
Absolutely.
If you really let things get old and stale and tired, that itch is going to be more powerful, so you always want to clear that alone date time, date night, or however you want to do it. You want to keep kind of surprising the person. Yes, there's comfort in knowing someone well and having things the same way, but you also want to every once in a while shake things up. Something.
How do you shake things up, Heidi? What do we do? What do we do? How do we shake it up?
And how do you know when to shake it up? How do you know when to shake it up? How do you know when you're in trouble? You're like, you better start shaking things up.
I'm shaking up.
wait till you're in trouble. Don't wait till you're in trouble to shake things up. Shake things up from the beginning. So, maybe if you usually go to the restaurant and you sit at the table, go travel there separately and sit at the bar like you're on a date.
Ooh, I like that. I like that one.
Yeah, like you arrive sitting at the bar. Now it's a whole different vibe, also exploring new places and new things. So yeah, you always, it's nice to go to the same old, but collaborate with each other and find new places and things to explore. When you're exploring newness together, it also keeps things that way. Get dressed up for each other, so it's not just you did it in the beginning when you went on a date, and of course you're going to be in your jammies and your sweats lots of times, but every now and then you want to shake things up with get a little wow,
boom.
Like this?
There you go. Exactly like that. Read the 5 love languages together.
Right.
I like that.
So, Take a trip. Spend time separately from the kids, even though you're going to spend time as a family, and of course that's crucial.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But with one of the things that I always go back to, especially from my experience and being married for so long, is we started off as friends. So we were friends first. And the thing about that is we liked each other before we loved each other. So there was always even through the worst of times that we've ever had, we always liked each other. We still wanted to be somewhat around each other. We could talk, some people, when they get into a bad situation, it's very difficult. But we have the kids in common, obviously, but it was more, we really did like each other. We thought we were good people just going through something, and that like for one another made our love, when you go through those hard times, even stronger when you get through them.
And I think that's the very key thing, being friends first, because I think in a friendship, you let your guard down, because you're friends with your true friends. You're just like, whatever, you just show up, show out. Your friends love you and accept you for who you are, how you are. And so now when that friendship evolves into love, that person knows who they're falling in love with. So even as you go through ups and downs with your friends, with your true friends, that friendship will still last.
That's right.
Will always be.
That's right.
But I have a serious question for you, Verdel.
Yes.
Very serious question. How exactly did Jeremiah ask you out? Did he say, do you like me? Check yes, check no. I could just imagine a young Jeremiah, was he suave, or was he just like, hey, you like me?
So we were at, I graduated from Central Islip High School, and I will always represent Central Islip High School on Long Island. And we were at a football game. I was in the band, and I was also a cheerleader. So I went up to the stands, at halftime or what have you. And he asked me out. And the words he said was, do you want to go out with me? And back in the day, do you want to go out with me meant, steady.
Yeah.
So, okay. So then we were, and that was November 4th, 1983.
I just think it's adorable how Verdel lights up when she tells the story. Oh my God. That's adorable.
Yeah, it's been a good little while. So, we're running short on time. We always have these great conversations, but we can't be, we can't talk, forever. So I want to just ask you ladies, what resonated with you in today's conversation? And please let people know how they can contact you and reach out to you. We'll start with Heidi.
What resonated with me is bringing more energy of love into the world. You ladies both got me inspired. We need that so badly, right? So it got me thinking, love is an energy. We need to fan the flames of it. We need more of it. So kind of recommitting myself to bring that in whatever ways I can, bring that energy. And you can find me at Coach Heidi K on Instagram and Facebook, and on my Facebook group, Break Up to Breakthrough with Coach Heidi K, and on my podcast with the same name, Break Up to Breakthrough with Coach Heidi K. My website is reinventionlifecoaching.com. So stay in touch.
Awesome. The Fitter Woman.
You know what? I came away with, before we decided to start taping, I had another necklace. They're like, no, wear the bigger one. And I realized this necklace makes me feel beautiful. Right? So I think what resonated with me is do things that make you feel beautiful. Do the things that make you feel loved, because then that is what you will radiate. That is what you will put out. Because just by having this, I'm like, I feel beautiful. And not beautiful in the sense of vanity, but I just feel beautiful because I took the time to do that and then say, I know I'm home. It doesn't matter, but I feel anyway. And I think that when we feel good, then we want others around us to feel good. And that is love. That's that energy. Yeah. So that's my takeaway. Do things that make you feel loved. Therefore, that love will come out into the world. So, and you can find me at thefitterwoman.com, and you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at The Fitter Woman. And you can also follow my show right here on Rude Rangers Entertainment, Muscles and Stilettos.
Yes. So what resonated with me, I love that we decided to talk about love. Love is what we need more of. And that old saying, love makes the world go round. It really, really does. And now more than ever, we have to love and uplift one another. So I would say that what resonated with me is just keeping, continue to love and connect with people. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It could be a friendship. It could be, someone, you talked about the love languages and how it could be somebody at your job, showing them love, showing others love and just, just love. It's great. It's the greatest gift. So I'm Verdel Jones, and you can find me on my website, verdeljones.com, and you can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook at Deli Teach, and you can also check out my show, Conversations with Verdel Jones, on my YouTube channel, as well as Let's Kick It with the Joneses on our YouTube channel. So I want to thank everybody for watching Have You Heard, a show powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. Make sure you share, and we're going to say goodbye, ladies.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.